Al-Qibtiyah Mosque in Marrakesh, and it's currently housed at the El Badi Palace Museum. Now, visitors there in Marrakesh can have some idea of what the Cordova minbar must have looked like.
Right.
Unfortunately, the Cordova minbar was destroyed. It was actually destroyed during the construction of the Catholic cathedral.
Okay.
There were also constructed 4 enormous fountains that were equipped with water brought down from the mountains, and a system of underground irrigation which supplied worshippers with clean water to perform ablution and for drinking. There were also constructed houses for traveling, and there were facilities to offer food for these passing travelers. Tragically, the mosque was violated by the Catholic Church as they built a cathedral inside it in the 16th century under the rule of Charles V. When Charles V was brought to admire the cathedral, it is reported that he wept and commented with this famous statement, "If I had known that this is what you wish to do, then I would not have let you do it, because what you are doing here can be found elsewhere, but what you had here before this does not exist anywhere else in the world."
Actually, within the hills of Granada is another architectural masterpiece, and that is the Alhambra Palace. It is not only the most visited tourist site in Spain, but it's rather unique in that red soil, which was used to make its bricks, is unique in building of its type. Actually, its full name means the Red Castle, for example.
Now, within this massive palace, one can find beautiful fountains and landscaped gardens, which have enchanted European royalty for centuries. In fact, King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella used to make their private retreat here during their visits to Granada. Within Alhambra are multiple styles of Islamic architecture that are fused together in such a way that is not found anywhere else in the world. It is the most unspoiled and unchanged example of Islamic architecture in all of Europe. There are patios, portico entrances, terraced gardens, and extensive uses of water in the design, as well as large, airy rooms with bright, complex designs. Many of the rooms have the phrase, "There is no conqueror but Allah," in stuccoed relief along the walls and ceilings. The Court of Lions within the palace holds 128 brilliant marble columns grouped in 3s and 4s, which support an enclosed area with the inscriptions on each wall in a brilliant fresco of cedar wood, traveling around the entire courtyard. In the center is a fountain where 12 marble lions have spewed water for centuries.
MashaAllah, and much of Andalusia's glory has been diminished though. A once prosperous silk production was completely destroyed after the Muslims were forced out of the land. Now the region, which was once so prosperous, depends on tourism for its main income. After the Spaniards had chased off the Muslims, they slowly discovered their tragic mistake.
It has been commented in history that the Spaniards had, quote, killed the goose that laid the golden egg,
right,
in forcing the Muslims out, as so many industries and trades were destroyed. Libraries were destroyed by Cardinal Ximenes. British architecture and Orientalist Stanley Lane Poole stated, "The misguided Spaniards knew not what they were doing. For centuries, Spain had been the center of civilization, the seat of arts and sciences, of learning in every form of refined enlightenment. No other country in Europe had so far approached the cultivated dominion of the Moors. The true memorial of the Moors is seen in desolate tracts of utter barrenness, where once the Muslims grew luxuriant vines and olives and yellow ears of corn. Is now seen as stupid, ignorant population, where once wit and learning flourished. Is seen in the general stagnation and degradation of a people which has hopelessly fallen in the scale of nations, and has deserved its humiliation."
That's right, Barakallah. So, dear listeners, it is important for us to reflect on the majesty and power behind the history of Islam in this world, so that we can know where we come from and recognize what we are truly capable of as a people.
That's right. We Muslims were once the pinnacle of the world. We were the greatest minds, the most creative artists, and the driving force of civility and justice in the world, we have allowed ourselves to become lazy, corrupt, and complacent in letting others rule over us. Even in lands where Muslims are a majority, most are still mentally enslaved by old colonial mentalities, having kings and princes and stopping in the middle of the afternoon for tea like the British, being more obsessed with having white skin than prayer or fasting, always rushing to have the best car, the best home, or building and thinking of only me, and no longer thinking of the greater good of the community. My dear brothers and sisters, tonight is only a portion of the history of Islam. Next week, we will talk about the Crusades and the final Islamic empires before the crush of the 20th centuries. We must learn the past in order to prepare for the future so that we may once again be the beacon of wisdom, justice, and righteousness in this world.
MashaAllah, and that was only part one of the history of Islam, Brother Saifullah.
Yes.
MashaAllah. All right. Well, I hope you have enjoyed tonight's topic, which was very informative and educational as well. And I'm really looking forward for the next episode, which is going to be the part 2 of the history of Islam, Brother Saifullah. So,
yes.
Brother, we still have about 6 minutes left.
Yes.
Would you like to do the honor again of telling our dear listeners how they can contact us?
Right. Once again, you can text us either tonight, through the week, whatever.
Right.
Any questions, comments, just want to praise the show, or you have a problem with something that was said.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're only human. We make mistakes. If I'm wrong, please correct me with love, not arrogance. But you can text us at 0922-604-4233. Again, that's 0922-604-4233. You can email us at islamradio@yahoo.com. That's islamradio@yahoo.com. You can view our videos online on YouTube at www.youtube.com/islamradioph. That's youtube.com/islamradioph. PH for Philippines.
Right.
And we have a podcast account, which is where you can download the MP3s, the audio file recorded here at the radio station.
Right.
That is islamradio.mypodcast.com. Again, islamradio.mypodcast.com. And I want to read the text number one more time in case there's people that were trying to write it and I went too fast.
Right.
0922-60-44-233. I want to thank all of our listeners for tuning in tonight, and I hope that they'll join us again next week for the other half of the history of Islam. I'm really looking forward to the next few weeks. We're going to be talking about marriage in Islam and the mercy of love in Islam.
Oh, yes.
And then we're going to have a long series on all the prophets, beginning with Adam and going all the way through every prophet that is mentioned in the Bible and Qur'an, and ending, of course, we're going to have one episode dedicated just to Jesus and how Muslims view Jesus. And we're going to do this on Holy Week.
All right, that'd
Okay.
be cool. That'd be cool.
You know, I figured while the Christians are celebrating their belief of Jesus, that we should explain what we believe of Jesus. And then after that, we're going to do an entire show about the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. So I look forward to the next month. We've got a lot of great shows planned, and I hope that you'll invite your neighbors, friends, and family to join us. Thank you to all of our listeners from Pasig to Quiapo, from Montalban to Green Hills, from Taguig to Antipolo, and all points in between, because I know I've left out a few.